curiosity would soon lead him into the darkest experience of his life. It all began in the winter of 2022, when Arjun, along with his friends Rohit, Hemant, and Varun, decided to visit an old abandoned port known as Kala Bandargah. The port had been shut down decades ago after a series of mysterious disappearances. Locals whispered of vengeful spirits, of sailors who never returned, and of a cursed sea that called out to those who dared to step near it. The warnings did not deter Arjun and his friends. One night, at 1:30 a.m., they set out on their journey, determined to uncover the truth behind the legends, the first encounter. As they drove towards the port, the road became eerily silent. The sound of the waves crashing against the shore should have been soothing, but instead, it felt ominous. When they finally reached the gates of the abandoned port, the place was shrouded in mist. The dim moonlight barely illuminated the decaying wooden docks and rusted shipping containers. Rohit, always the skeptic, scoffed, "This place is just old and forgotten, nothing else." Hemant, however, felt uneasy. Then why do the villagers refuse to come here? Arjun ignored them. He was already stepping onto the dock, his flashlight casting long shadows. As they walked further in, the air turned colder, and the smell of salt and decay grew stronger. Then, they saw something that made them stop in their tracks. A small child, no older than 8, stood near the edge of the day. His white clothes were soaked, his skin pale and wrinkled as if he had been in the water for hours. He simply stood there, staring at them. Varun whispered, "What is a kid doing here at this hour?" Before anyone could react, the boy slowly lifted his hand and pointed at them. His lips parted, but instead of a voice, a hollow gurgling sound emerged. And then, behind him, a woman appeared. She was standing just a few feet behind the boy, dressed in an old, tattered sari, her long, dripping, wet hair covering half her face. The parts of her skin that were visible looked bloated, waterlogged. Hemant gasped. She wasn't there before. Arjun's instincts screamed at him to run, but his legs wouldn't move. The woman raised her hand and spoke in a chilling whisper. "Eat well tonight. Enjoy. Tomorrow, you will join us." The friends bolted, sprinting towards their car. As they ran, Arjun dared to glance back. The child and the woman were gone. The curse begins. Back in town, they tried to rationalize what they had seen, but the terror in their eyes betrayed them. That night, none of them could sleep. At 3 a.m., Hemant called Arjun, his voice trembling. "They're here." Arjun sat up, his heart racing. bruises all over his body. Rohit fell severely ill, his skin turning pale, as if all the blood was draining from him. Varun started sleepwalking, waking up near the sea every night without remembering how he got there. Desperate, they sought help from an old priest. The moment he heard their story, his face darkened. "You have angered the drowned ones," he said. "They were fishermen, betrayed and left to die in the sea. Now, they take anyone who disturbs their rest." Arjun pleaded, "What can we do?" The priest handed them a bundle of black salt and sacred threads. "Spread the salt at your doorsteps. Wear these threads at all times, and most importantly, do not return to the port." They followed the priest's instructions, but Hemant's condition worsened. He became delirious, murmuring in his sleep, "They're calling me. The sea, it's so cold." On the 7th night, Hemant vanished, the final confrontation. The town launched a search party, but there was no sign of him. Driven by guilt and desperation, Arjun, Rohit, and Varun broke the priest's warning. They returned to the port. The mist was thicker that night. The air was heavier, suffocating. As they stepped onto the dock, the temperature dropped drastically. Then they heard it, a soft, haunting lullaby. They turned, and there she was, the woman in the sari, holding Hemant's limp body in her arms. His eyes were open, but vacant, his lips moving silently, as if whispering to unseen forces. Arjun stepped forward. "Let him go! Let him go!" The woman lifted her head, her eyes black as the abyss. "He is already ours." The wind roared, the waves crashed violently, and suddenly the boy appeared beside her, his small hand gripping Hemant's wrist. Hemant turned to them, his expression blank. "Come, join us." Rohit screamed and threw the black salt towards them. A deafening shriek filled the air as the spirits recoiled, vanishing into the mist. They grabbed Hemant and ran. Aftermath. The priest performed a final cleansing ritual. Slowly, Hemant began recovering, but his memories of the night remained fragmented, like shattered glass. Rohit never spoke of the experience again. Varun moved to another city, hoping distance would erase the fear. And Arjun, he stopped chasing the supernatural, but sometimes, late at night, he still hears the sound of waves and a soft, distant whisper, "Tomorrow, you will join us."